Now I am going to discuss application protocol for IoT concepts. So let me see how this protocols looks from the legacy OSI layer. Can observe that IP protocol stack as well as the 6 low WPAN adoption layer protocol we discussed in the previous discussion. Now IoT application protocols are selected uh, from the traditional protocols list, which are definitely should be dependent on the use case and vertical industry they apply to. Vertical industry in the sense that the industry have specialized, for example Noodle.org, which have variety of product from LKG to the higher education. So those such a protocols were very compatible for the traditional networks or the legacy networks. So IoT application depends on the characteristics of the bottom layers, right? So this bottom layers also held contribute something regarding to provide a service for the constraints nodes and constraints applications networks. For example, the application protocol sufficient generic for node and traditional networks often are not well suited for constraints node and constraint networks, because they are very popular and they are amicable to the traditional networks, not for the constraints node and constraint network, which is happen in IoT concepts. So continuation of this, the focusing on higher layer IoT protocols are transported, and this transport layer, the internet protocol based networks use either TCP or UDP as usual, which we have happen in the most of the network computer networks. However, the constraints nature of IoT networks require a closer look at the use of traditional transport algorithms. So those are well supported with the memory and well supported with the battery chargers, and they have a huge bandwidth and better latency, so on so forth. IoT application transport methods we are going to be discussing in this discussion, which are effort to explore the various type of IoT application data and ways this data can be carried across the network. So continuation of this, as traditional networks TCP or UDP are utilized in most cases when transporting a IoT application data. So the transport approaches are covered in depth, as with the lower layer IoT protocols there are typically multiple options, right? So these multiple options may not suitable for the constraints networks and constraints node, for which solution presented for transporting IoT application data in the subsequent slide. So due to the IoT is still developing and under mature, has to account for transport of new application protocols and legacy technology, which can try to extend with minimum modifications. So coming to the according to these OSI layers, the application layer, next to that we have transportation layer. So the transportation layer may important role for this IoT applications. The review of selection of protocols for transport layer in the context of IoT networks. So maybe different choices may be explored in the literature for as per the IoT concepts. So only two choices are enlisted in the literature. Those are TCP and UDP. So let to TCP. What is TCP? TCP is a connection oriented session established between source and destination before exchange the communication starts. For example, phone. So the both side they have committed to communication, so then only communication will be starts. Whereas this confirmation may be hello or etc. By receiving the instantaneous acknowledgement, the communication will be committed and established. Similar to the UDP, that Universal Datagram Protocol, it is a connectionless, but no guarantee of delivering the message to the destination, or converse it may be received. For example, mail delivery. So confirmation may be possible only after sending a second message, for which the acknowledgement may be get. So continues this transportation layer, the TCP UDP. The TCP more usage due to its legacy, right? It is very compatible, and it is the versatile, and people have of course it is implemented protocol, so ability to transport large data into smaller sets of packets. It ensures reassembly in a correct sequence, flow control, window adjustment, last packet retransmission. So these are facilities are there in the TCP. Benefits occur with the overhead per packet session, impact on per second performance, latency, and overhead of course 20 byte. So these are some highlights we can observe from the TCP side. So on the other side we have UDP. It is a connection-less oriented, no guarantee in the communication, that used in the context of network services. Example, domain name server, SMTP, and those protocols will receive those the web addresses, and it will be sent to convert into IP to the network layer. The performance and latency is important than packet transmission in UDP, because resending a lost voice or video packet does not add a value for resending. So overhead is a 8 byte, whereas the 20 byte for TCP. So multicast uses the UDP exclusively. So continuation of this, there are several approaches for this application transport approaches. So it can be elaborate. There are 4 methods are exercised in the this literature. So the first method is called the application layer protocol not present means the application layer not present here. So in the absence of application layer, so the communication will be established, so that payload directly loaded onto the top of the lower layer, so that is a transport layer. So the payload handling of payload obviously by application layer, but here in this method application layer is not available, so it is omitted here. So directly starts the from the lower layer called transport layer. So those methods will be discussed in the subsequent slide. The second method will be practice, that is through the that is serial interface protocol, that based on the serial interface protocol, maybe RS-232, RS-425, so on, that supervisory control data acquisition. So that will be communication common industrial protocol in the world, but at days developed before IP and adapted for IP networks in the due course. So this is also one of the popular exercise which will be employed for IoT application transport approaches. So the third method will be available in the literature called generic web-based methods. So as we heard so far, when we discuss web programming concepts and all those, so there is a when we are doing some web programming, there could be a small video capturing or some exercise will be performed by this web programming. So those bases we can transmit, so either through the Ethernet or Wi-Fi or 4G or LTE or enterprise class of IoT devices, that communication over constraints networks and constraints node. So obviously these are not suitable for constraints node and constraint networks. So for the minor changes, by performing some small changes, they can go to be adopt for the IoT application transport, that is a generic web based protocol. So the last method or fourth method which we enlisted in the literature called IoT application layer. So IoT application layer present here. So it is complementary to the first method, where the first method application layer not present, here application layer is present. So if having application layer is present, then it may perform some function to establish the communication to the lower layer via lower layer to the clients. So that is a device to run on a constraints node and constraint network, though the bandwidth may be constraints. So that is called MQTT, that is a message queuing telemetry protocol, and COAP, that is a constraints oriented application protocol. So these are the four methods going to be practiced in the IoT application transport situation. So let me discuss one by one. The method one is a scale. It is a no application layer, what we had, as we said in the previous slide. So it can be achieved via IoT data broker. So what is IoT data broker? So let me see that here at the bottom. So we have the sensors are fixed here, sensors. So sensor X, Y, Z, right? So these sensors will be measure some parameter, either maybe temperature or relative humidity and so on those. So these sensors are manufactured by different vendors. So obviously those have different formats. So X have some format, Y have some format, Z have format. So all these formats will be it needs some commonalization here. So for such kind of work will be performed by IoT data broker, which will be receive the data from all the sensors of the device which is located outside this broker area, and these will be decode them. So once it's decoded, then it will go to the what is called here temperature data on a standardized format. It will be standardized the format of all these and it will keep it the common format. So this common format will be available at the broker. So the remaining who are maybe allied with this broker, maybe subscribed with this broker, those are applications. Let's say application A, application B, application C. So these several applications are need the whatever the temperature or relative humidity from the broker they can get. So the broker will be supplied to this the application A, application B in the common format, right? So obviously here they have a different formats from the different vendors. We have different formats, whereas this application have common format. They need common format, so they can get download from the IoT data broker. So this is a one simple method. They are going to be exercise for when no application layer present for the transport IoT transport method achievement performance. So let me say that application layer not present. So the data payload put on the top of the lower layer without structured network stack, right? So directly put on the what is called transportation layer with structured without structured network stack. Device have few bytes of data, right? So this kind of method is suitable for very small applications which have yield with a small kind of data in terms of lesser bytes. So low cost temperature sensor different different kind they are going to yield, that is. So many vendors have XYZ sensors. Obviously they have different format. They measure this the temperature or relativity, whatever they are fixed for the particular data measuring in devices. And many applications have ABC, right? So have interrupt they and interpret the deliver in different formats become complex, but these applications need a common format. So the middle where broker, that is IoT data broker, inform this the different data, different format data into common data format. So those are authorized applications are eligible to receive this data from the IoT broker without worrying about the with their original data format. So that is a beauty of the first method, which in the absence of network application layer, the higher level take care with the help of the IoT broker, and also it is achieved for the scaling factor. So second method, we have DNP3 for SCADA over IP. So serial DNP3. DNP is a distributed network protocol version 3 for SCADA. SCADA, you know that the supervisory control and data acquisition. So supervisory control and data acquisition over IP. So that data acquisition can be achieved used for the communication between the devices and applications. So obviously this supervisory is a serial interface. So it is a automation control system implemented without IP over several links before adapted to the IP version 4. So those protocols were not available, not evolved during those days, which is possible to achieve through the serial communications. During those days, SCADA was popular. So that legacy protocol, the legacy principles, still the people are going to be extend with help of this evolved for vertical industry communication, allow global and real-time data-driven decision made to improve the business process. For all this, the either SCADA also need, or the improved version of the SCADA, which is based on the IP network IP protocols of different versions, for which there is a little modifications may be possible, which will be performing here, and going to be extended for the constraint network or constraint node, which is always the inheritance property for the up-to-date IoT networks. So the distributed network protocol 3, that is a serial based, used for automatic meter reading. Right, automatic metering. It may be oil meters, maybe water meters, and maybe gas meters. So all those meter reading gadgets will be adopted the AMR concept, that may be DLMS, like it is the DNP3 is similar to the Modbus. I hope you might be heard the Modbus is quite popular for transportation and building construction and so on. So that is one the popular protocols. They are exercised for most of the other applications. Similarly, the DNP3 is quite popular for most of the serial communications. So IoT and traditional network need some changes. This adjustment forms a different SCADA transport method, that is. So let we see those methods here. So this the DNP3 will be perform the logical communication between the master and outstation. So master is maybe master slave organization, maybe master is a server, maybe outstation, maybe a clients. So maybe sometimes we'll producer consumer, sometimes we'll call it as a publisher subscriber. So similarly client server. So master outstation, the terminals they are adapted. Let me see that these three layers are the application layer will be have a fragment, transportation layer have a segment, the data link layer have the frames. So this data will be communicate will help to communicate to the slave or the outstation. So that DNP3 application layer, transport function, and data link layer, altogether they will call it as a DNP3 protocol. So this DNP3 protocol, and the bottom we have a transport network data link layer and physical layer, which will combination of all this will form an IP layer. So this IP layer and DNP3 protocols will be communicate via the connection management. So this connection management will be achieved with help of this. So initiate the connection performed by TCP. So when we are sending, the master will be active open. When you are sending, the master will be active open, whereas the slave will be passive open. where will be slave will be passive open when it is received. If needed, the listen both active open may be possible. So further, with descriptive way, move to the Ethernet and IP supply ability influence the existing devices and standard devices while combining SCADA with the corporate wireless area networks. So when you are incorporating extending for general applications, so it has to change, make some changes to suit for some general applications. So the similar one we are planning to extend for the IoT networks with help of the DNP3 will be discussed in the subsequent slide. To support the legacy industrial protocol over IP networks, there could be a protocol specification. There could be an updation of that protocol specification, so that those specifications and complete encyclopedia of that protocol should be published, use of IP for each protocol. So when we publish this in terms of RFC and so on, that so request for comment, so those official documents will be available in the literature, which may be obviously the manufacturers or users, or maybe use those. For example, so you can say that the DNP3 via TCP, so 20,000 is a port number, right? 20,000 is a port number. Similarly, the Modbus protocol via TCP, the 502 is a port number. So this kind of specification should be published. So then only the user may able to receive them, able to adopt for their applications. So in order to enrich the legacy industry protocols, we can extend for the latest applications. So legacy serial protocol evolved to use IP, for example DNP3 as we discussed so in the previous slide. So extended the master slave relation control center to device. That device may be remote, so the control center may be at a particular place. So example, circuit breaker. So circuit breaker, you might be seen that master have the on and off the functionality. So it may send an information to the client saying that see, let's say that circuit, any disturbance in the circuit, if it is disturbance happen where the circuit breaker is on, if it is on, then suddenly disconnect that entire circuit. So this on and off facility, that message will be transferred from the client to server. So server will be taken action. One such example is called a circuit breaker, which will be practiced in the most of the current industry. So adapting a SCADA for IP network. So let me see that the same diagram which will be continued here. Further narration will be essential. Master may parse frame from a multiple DNP3 data link layer from a UDP datagram, right? So the data link layer, that UDP that frame will be parsed. From parsing it will be understand, while DNP3 data link layer frames cannot span into multiple UDP datagram. One or more connection to master may get established, right? So while TCP keep alive timer monitor the status of connection. By keeping the keep alive message to understand the whether the monitor or client is need a connection. Keep alive messages are implemented as a DNP3 DLL status request. So this based on the request, keep alive message will be implemented. So if response not received to keep alive message, the connection is broken, as we understood. So for which to establish the connection, we have to take an action. So such the small exercises are going to be adopted for this implementation. So the continuation of this, we have tunneling legacy SCADA over IP network. So end-to-end local IP support is prepared using DNP3. So that local IP is essential, so that the point-to-point local IP supportive nature of protocols are is most required. Otherwise, transport of original serial protocol over IP can be achieved by either tunneling or translation. So the local IP supported protocols are there, but one such protocols are narrated in the literature through DNP3, right? So otherwise also you can achieve this by the concept called either tunneling or translation. So let me see. Tunneling is a digging, right? So tunneling use raw sockets over TCP or UDP. So raw socket serial data being packaged directly into TCP UDP transportation, right? So this raw socket will be taken care to transmit the TCP UDP transportation. So the other side we have translation. Translation is nothing but adaptation. So adaptation is translating the old non-IPs to IP such way that installing an intermediate device that will be perform protocol transmission between the serial protocol version and the IP implementation. So continuation of this. So the let's say that further we can discuss this raw socket concept, one that is a tunneling concept. So we have a router. Router is a slave, connect via serial interface to RTU, that is a remote terminal unit. Slave, that is a remote terminal unit. We have a remote terminal unit, so that have serial interface. So we can also call it as a slave. So which are coupled with a SCADA network server. So SCADA network server is here. So this RTUs, that is a remote terminal unit, are coupled with a SCADA server, right? So via master slave various connected, that is various types. So various types. So this can be achieved with that is the socket master, that will be a router, right? Router. So coming that. So the connection type ABC, let's say connection type A, both have direct serial to their own routers, right? So both have this RTUs have serial connection with their own routers, right? Own routers. So at two ends, and with a serial connection at two end via raw socket encapsulation to transport the serial payload over IP network, right? So here SCADA is a serial interface and RTU is a serial interface. So between this router of the RTUs and the router of SCADA will be only IP. It is not serial based communication. It is a internet protocol will be involved. Of course, it may be IP version 4, right? Scenario raw socket between router, no change on SCADA server, right? So let me see the connection type B, the piece of software installed on a server that maps to serial COM port to IP port, right? So that SCADA have COM port, this COM port will be mapped to IP port via Ethernet. So that is called IP serial redirector. So IP serial redirect stop the serial communication and establish the IP communication, convert it to TCP bar IP port using raw socket, right? So the other side we have still between from RTUs to router, so that is a slave, still is the serial interface. Only the from router to router, router of the RTUs, router of the SCADA have IP infrastructure. from SCADA to the router of the SCADA will be Ethernet connection. So earlier it was a serial interface. Now it is replaced with what is called IP serial redirector. IP serial redirector through the Ethernet. So that is a COM port mapped to the IP plus TCP UDP ports to by IP serial director software. Serial IP bar serial redirector code will be taken care to appropriately establish the communication. Instead of the COM port to SCADA to router of that SCADA, now it will taken care by the IP serial redirector. So that is called version B. So let me proceed the last version called version C, right? Version C, the SCADA server got a complete capability to establish with a full IP support for a raw socket connection. So you can consider, you can look here, the application communication directly over raw socket IP plus CDP, TCP bar UDP ports, right? So other side RTUs still have serial interface, that is. So now the router of this RTU and routers of SCADA have IP infrastructure as we discussed in the previous case, that is scenario A and B. So that will be similarly continued. The only changes have that what we call, that is the redirector software replace with help of application communication over a raw socket IP plus TCP bar UDP ports. So this raw socket between the router and SCADA server, the application knows how to direct directive communication over raw socket and Ethernet interface. So these are the three versions of the connection type, master slave connection type for the with help of the legacy industry serial protocols achieved via SCADA legacy the net protocols. So coming to the alternative method of this tunneling and the raw socket concept. So now we have DNP3 protocol translation. So as we discussed earlier that DNP3 is a distributed network protocol version 3, obviously developed from the American development. So whereas the other RFCs have from European IETF. So in absence of the what we call DNP3, there is some European scientific committee, they are exercising that some RFCs. So let we see those RFCs in the subsequent discussion. So this end-to-end local IP support is achieving. So from observing this diagram, so we can see that two RTUs are connected to two masters via IoT gateway, right? So via IoT gateway. So those are serially connected. The others are IP connected. After the gateway there is a IP connection. So before the gateway there is a DNP3 that is via serial interface. So IoT gateway make a protocol translation to allow connection between the master and slave, right? So master and slave will be established a connection through the internet protocol by the help of IoT gateway. So IoT gateway take a responsibility to convert this serial to IP, right? The responsibility to take a serial to IP. So this every RTUs are connected here. So those will be submitted their serial communication data. So this for which they will generate the IP address, right? IP address. So RT1 will be IP1, RTU2 IP2, RTUN will be IPN, like that. The corresponding addresses will be generated and it will be configured, right? So although the serial connection in one side and IP connection used on the other side, right? IP connection used on the other side. So from route the RTUs to the gateway is a serial communication. From gateway to the master is a IP connections, right? So that can be achieved here. Also, the gateway will be perform some computations through some functions which will be contributes to the edge layer of IoT networks we discuss of IoT networks, and further computation for the above that is it also provides some data for the fog computing on the other side. So one side is a edge computing, then other side will be fog computing. So the multiple roles will be performed by this IoT gateway, which will be sat in between this master and slave. It will compute the IP address for them, and also perform some computations for either way, for either side, on the either side. So if the DNP3 protocol is absent or not, instead of this, you can also use some European RFCs, European protocols, that is IEC 60870 5 or 101 or T101 could be used. On the reverse side, the IEC 6087051 104 or T104 swap DNP3 bar IP, right? So for this side we can use 6080705 104, and this side we can use 101, right, instead of DNP3. That is a alternative protocol, right? So this protocol also we can glance over 6 low WPAN networks with a MAPT, right? So let we see the MAPT. So here observe that there is a SCADA server and there is a endpoint. So in between we have that SCADA server have a router, and this have a router. Not router. So that is a mapping of address per protocol. So mapping of address per protocols. So this will be connected to the IoT gateway, which in the previous diagram will be continued. So as we understand in the previous slide, the functionality of the IoT gateway, which will be convert the serial interface to the IP interface. So and also do some computations which will be on either side, either the edge side or the fog side. It will be well supportive. So in the same scenario we can continue here. So we can observe here, see, due to the constrained nature of lossy and low memory networks, that is RPL, LLNs. So those are legacy endpoint connection across the LLN running over 6 low WPAN to the IP enabled SCADA server, right? So SCADA server. So legacy device SCADA server hold only SCADA server holds only IP version 4. However, being IP6 for 6 low PAN and LLN using to connection for endpoints, but networks middle portion will be established with the IP6, whereas the neither side portion, end portions, will be function with help of the IP4. So this hybrid of 4 and 5 will lead some problems. So how to solve these problems? So this problem we can solve with help of the mapping of address port by translation, right? Mapping of address by translation, that is MAPT and MAPT border relay. So it takes the mapping between IP4 and 6. Hence the old device also continue in the current network, though the network is backboned with version 4, no problem. So we can continue with the version 6 also. It will be fluently establish the communication with version 6 instead of version 4, right? So this is the principle behind that. With help of the mapping address protocol by translation can achieve with help of this adopting of 6 low WPAN and LLN networks. So the third method or method 3, that is called as generic web-based protocols. Generic web-based protocols, we have observed that the web programming skills for IoT device creates an event to launch video capture along with sending alert to collaboration tool. So those could be MQTT or COAP or LDTP, so on and so forth, are going to be discussed in the subsequent discussion. Now it is generic web based method which is well supported for the traditional and normal networks. But what we have in our mind, that IoT networks is a constrained network. For them, which may be not well cooperative, with a little modification may be possible. Such protocols may be XML, HTTP, or such kind of protocols, or generic web based protocols we can also extend with a little modification. So method 4 is IoT application layer protocols. So let me see that the so far discussed some heavy protocols which are suit for traditional and normal networks and normal nodes. But here having said that constraint node and constraint networks are very frontier in our discussion, so that's why we need some lightweight protocols which are battery operated for the constraint node. So IoT applications, the layer protocol may be COAP and MQTT. So let me see the COAP, that is a constraints oriented application protocol, generic framework for resource oriented application targeting the constraint node and networks from the IETF group. So IoT application layer protocols, COAP, this message formats and fields we can observe here. There is a version of the version that is altogether 4-byte header, the version and token length and code, message ID, the token is option, and options and all the payload and all those will be narrated. With help of this table we can observe that there is a token length, message ID, payload, and so on. That so this protocol will be a communication in IoT infrastructure. It is most of the literature said reliable communication in order to establish the connection between the device on same or different constraint networks or cloud or internet. All are operated over IP, right? Having said that, there is the kind of COAP based network will be we have that the network monitoring system will be connected to the COAP proxy or COAP network. So that can be achieved via HTTP. That COAP network will be as a backhaul, and this will be monitoring the networks via this can be achieved with the COAP protocol. So obviously we can observe here that client will be sending a message for the temperature and through the ID called 047, that is a connection established. The temperature sensors will be sending information through acknowledgement, that is with ID, and there have what is called there is a code 2.0 is a code for sending a temperature for the client. So server will be with the ID and this code, it will be given information that is a pair of bits that communication and acknowledgement will be achieved. That is the second protocol which will be for the constraint node a network, that is a message queuing telemetry transport, that is MQTT protocol. So here we can have that publisher, and here we have a server, right? So in between there is a message broker will be there. So this is a IBM lightweight protocol and cost effective, which will controls use the sensor of data from central server of gas and oil industry. They are exercise this kind of protocol at the very beginning, which is more popular MQTT protocol. We will be practicing in most of the today's application, that constraint node, unreliable wide area networks, the communication and bandwidth constraints with variable latency client server framework on TCP/IP architecture. So the architecture, we can observe that there is a MQTT client and the MQTT client as a subscriber. The one side is a publisher client and the other side is a client subscriber. In between that, the message broker will be sat, which will be establish the communication between them. So one such example they are going to be considered here. So the publisher, that is a MQTT client as a publisher, will be publish the temperature and relative humidity information from their devices, and it will be published, and those copies will be going to be reached by message broker. The message broker will be establish the communication with the publisher client and receive the information that temperature and relative humidity. So the other side, we have subscriber will be subscribed to the message broker. So whoever may be valid subscriber and also invalid subscriber will also participate here. So this the subscriber and the publisher may not know each other, and also they may not be online at a same time. So because broker have a buffer, a small memory, even whenever the publisher will publish, that data will be stored here. Whenever the valid subscriber will be receive that request the data will be sent to the corresponding subscriber. So the having that this the asynchronous communication between the publisher and subscriber can be definitely achieved by the message broker. So the we are client's temperature and humidity will be left side, and the as a server broker accept this along with application message, and that data will be transport to sent to the subscriber whenever the subscriber request the that type of data. Also handles the subsequent and unsubscription process, pushes application data to the clients on right side, acting as a subscriber. So the clients can subscribe to all data from information tree of publisher. Broker decouple the data transmission between the publisher and subscriber. They do not know each other. The subscriber may be subscribe for the all data or specific data, or only the particular data they might be interested. Based on that, that message, that information, the message will be sent to the requested the subscriber client, subscriber client. Having said that, the benefit of having decoupling, that broker ensures information can be buffered and cached in case of the network failure. Hence, the publisher and subscriber do not be online at a same time. So, continuing of this, we can see the format of the MQTT one. That is there is a 2 byte will be fixed for the header. 2 byte will be fixed for the header. So with optional field, payloads and packet up to the 256 MB. And message type, DUP, quality of service, and retain remaining length, variable header, payload, and all those information will be as we discussed earlier in the COP. It contains small header 2 byte, whereas the 2 byte, whereas consent of oriented application need 4 byte. There are 14 type of control messages are enlisted in the list. So with having a unique ID, the connect acknowledgement, publish acknowledgement, publish receive, public release, publish complete, so on, that till the ping request, ping response, disconnect, and the 14 type of message will be provided with help of their corresponding IDs. Coming to the security aspects, there is a 3 models security aspect they are exercising here. The first model is the quality service 0. The at most once delivery, that is only one time it will ask to the there is a server will be asked to the client. If it is received or not received, it will not worry about that. Only one time that quality service will be 0 will be achieved. Quality service 1 will be there. It will send a message at least once, deliver, and it will be make confirm that whether it is reached or not. whereas quality service 2, the exactly ones, it is a very guarantee service and it is a improved service compared to the quality service 1. Though quality service 1 is also guarantee, and this quality service 2 is a guarantee to guarantee, it is a further guarantee, like that we can say that. So let coming to the comparison of this these two protocols which are enlisted, that is which will be COAP will be exercised via UDP, on the other end TCP for MQTT, and the type of messaging is a request and response, whereas the MQTT is a publish and subscribe, whereas the effectiveness LLNs is excellent, whereas is very low. The security for COAP is a datagram transport layer security, and also the same will be extended SSL and CSL. The communication mode is one-to-one, it is a many-to-many, it is a lightweight protocol, it is a heavyweight protocol. So weakness is not reliable as a TCP based MQTT, and is the application to ensure that is higher overhead for constrained device, and device will be achieved, that is but MQTT suits for certain applications. Based on this specialization of the applications, we can exercise those the protocols. So further we can summarize this in a very crispy way. So there are concepts we discussed, that TCP bar UDP we have discriminated with some features. So the IoT application transport method, method 1 is the absence of application layer. So transportation layer will be look after that, that scaling will be performed by IoT broker. So let's say that method 2, that is a SCADA serial interface, either can achieve by tunneling or translation or DNP3. So the raw socket is a major concept in tunneling as well as the translation. Of course, the translation method is not discussed in the, it is not scope of this literature. So directly went after the tunneling, the DNP3 article, the protocol that is achieving the end-to-end local IP support can be taken care that. So the further the method 3 is a web-based method, which is a very suit for unconstrained networks and so on. That is, with the modifications we can also extend for the IoT applications. So final method called IoT application layer. So that is a COAP and MQTT. That is a COAP is a client server based, and public the MQTT is a publish subscriber based. That is. I hope you followed the concepts of this application protocols for IoT. Thank you for your patient hearing and shown the interest. Thank you.